Hey girl, hey Tina.
Hey, 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 how's it going?
Girl, we are, you know, I mean, just out here.
Oh, that's how it's going? That's how it's going.
Yeah. Jesus turned water to wine, right?
He did.
And so we are here today. Today. What day?
Sunday.
I mean, I was gonna say today, but that works too.
Oh,
Yeah, we haven't changed. We have not changed. The only difference is that we've been in therapy, and that's what we're here to talk about.
hmm.
Yes. So, Tina, I mean, you want to get into the thing? Because I
Yeah,
want to get into the thing.
let's talk about it. So, Tanisha, let's talk about your therapy journey. Tell me a little bit about, what led you to therapy and what you've learned, how you've grown. Share with all of us your story.
So, ironically, I mean, you probably couldn't tell because I was, in the midst of the beginnings, the precipice. Is that the right word?
hmm I think.
It's a long day, y'all. It's a long day. So I have been in therapy honestly since our first recordings at Sadak Chronicles. I first got into therapy around 2017. I was going to a lady, and she was great, but I just kept feeling like my anxiety was getting worse and worse. And she gave me the worst advice ever that I've ever heard from a therapist. I don't think you know this, Martina.
I don't. Wow.
I was like, I felt like I have anxiety, and she was like, "Oh, we just need to figure out what's triggering your anxiety, and then just fix it." Well, that's not how that works. So, needless to say, I stopped going to her. And amazingly, if you reference any of our old episodes, you've heard me talk about my amazing gynecologist, Dr. Jessica Shepherd. I literally cried in her office my very first time meeting her, because I've dealt with infertility and so many other things, and I was like, and also I need to find a therapist, and she was like, "Oh, okay. Well, I have someone. Do you mind if I share your information?" And I'm like, "Not at all. Please like pass on like a reference from me." And so she connected me with the, I mean the Tori Dixon. She's a breath of fresh air. And not only is she an amazing therapist, but she is a woman of God. And so there's so
And
much that
y'all,
I can
let me tell y'all something. When Tanisha says she's a woman of God, Tori will get on sessions with me and pray. So
pray.
like
Yes,
pray us
yes,
in, pray us out.
yes.
I promise y'all, sometimes I feel like the spirit of the living God, the Holy Spirit is just
Amen.
right there.
Amen.
She would be saying stuff and I'm like, where'd that even that came from Jesus
Right.
alone.
Right. Did nobody tell you that? Did nobody tell you that? It's
She's
so
incredible.
true.
Yeah.
She is so amazing. And the fact that, and honestly, we're gonna tag her. Like you guys will be able to connect with her, but don't steal our appointments because since I've been going to her, the appointments are scarce. Okay. You gotta plan ahead when it comes to Tori. But she is a breath of fresh air. I don't know what I expected out of starting to go to therapy, but she's everything that I know I've needed in my journey. And Tina, I was gonna pass it to you to talk about whether or not you started therapy, but I think you kind of already jumped into
Yeah.
it.
I told
So,
everyone.
hey.
Yeah, so Tori is also my therapist. Tanisha referred her to me. I too tried therapy before, but it was
What is
BetterHelp,
it?
I think. BetterHelp, or so it wasn't like official. Well, I
Yeah.
guess it is, but it was over the phone. It
Phone,
wasn't
yeah.
the same. It wasn't the same. And this lady, she wasn't really helpful either. And I can tell y'all this. I had reached a place in my life where I was kind of at a crossroads. I've been in church my whole life, and I was starting to see some things that just didn't sit well with me. Um, they bothered me a little bit. Stuff that was being said from the pulpit, the way people were acting. Listen, people will people, right? You know, we're all human. People are gonna let you down.
Ooh,
And that's just reality, right? But I was just like, these are Christians? Lord, are you sure? Like,
these your
I
people? These
don't
your
your people. You know yeah. So I had to take a break. I'll be honest with y'all. I stepped away from church for a couple of years. Um, just staying at home on Sundays, trying to figure things out, and was so grateful that I had Tori in the process. She understood where I was coming from. She was also raised in church. Her mother was a pastor, I believe. So I didn't even have to explain much to Tori. Tori knew what I was talking about when it came to church, church traditions, church culture. And she helped me navigate through those things. So super grateful for her. Tori Dixon, round of applause.
And I think that's one of the things that I appreciate about her, like you just touched on, is the fact that there's not a lot that I had to explain. She is a Black woman who grew up in the church, who is of the church. She has a faith like no other. Like, there are times where I go into an appointment, I'm like, I have nothing to talk about. And she's like, that thing that you just breezed through, let's bring that back. Let's bring that back, right? And so, and we talked about this in our, for those who are of our side, our crew, you know more of our background. But Tina was definitely the more churched girl compared to me. I moved around a lot. And so while faith was always my foundation, a lot of times my faith was through my mom, through or in terms of my growth as a Christian was like through my mom, was through music, and was through my own personal journey because we didn't always have a church home. But there were so many levels of expectations and things like that were really placed on being a wholesome girl, that were extremely based on the church world, that it didn't matter whether or not I was going to a church every Sunday. Like, that pressure, that experience was definitely placed on me. And so I am grateful that being able to talk to Tori through what I thought were just like my lived experiences as a young girl. No, Tori was there. Mm, 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 let's break that down. And I'm like, I didn't have anything to talk about. No, no, no. Let's break that down. She's like literally, she's so Tina and I actually have talked about this before. I don't know if you remember this conversation, but we talked about like finding spouses that were like us, but
Yes,
just
yes.
male, right? And Tori is kind of that therapist for me. I don't know what she's like in like when it comes to you, but like she is the like tell it real, like tell it raw. Like, there have been times where I'm like, I know I made the right decision. I know I said the right thing. And she's like, yeah, that was right. But why'd you say it? Let's break down how you got there. Let's talk about what allowed you to see where you are now from where you've been. And I'm like, girl, but we've healed. So like, we don't need to break. No, 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 no. Let's make sure we understand so we don't end up back here. I, I there are times when I reference things from Tori and I'm like, oh, she read me. Like, oh, she read me.
She connects the dots for me, right?
Mm,
I tend to sometimes separate instances and just think they're just one offs. And then Tori
yep.
will be like, well, no, you think that way because of this thing that happened in fourth grade. And I'm like, wait a
How
minute.
you get there?
Wait, you're they're connected? Oh, that makes so much sense. so much of my life is connected, and I had no idea.
It's like God knew. Mm, ooh, mm.
Yeah, it's she's pretty phenomenal. And yeah, for me, reads are not. I'm not being dragged, but
No,
it's
yeah,
more
but in a
so.
positive way.
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like you again, like you. She, you. Well, no, you dragged me. Just well, welcome back, guys. That's all I have to say. Y'all don't know Tina drags me. No, but I do listen to Tori. I do listen to Tori.
and she does not listen to me.
Do not, do not. But you know what though? I mean, kind of on that same mind frame. There are still times where I'm me, right? Like where the hard headed, if you want to bring astrology into it, the Taurus side of me, bull, where I'm like, I don't know how she got there. And it's like that I just tuck it into like the back of my brain and I'm like, oh, this is what she's talking about. Or like she gives an advice that I'm not ready to receive. And I'm like, oh, we don't have to go through this if we did this. So she's good at being able to like plant those seeds
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
really allow me to like keep going. Like there was a time where actually in this past end of the year in 2022 where I was like my schedule was crazy and it was hard for me to get an appointment just based off my own personal schedule and I was like, you know what, I'm fine, like I'll get back on schedule, it's fine. No, your girl was crawling into appointments like, all right, I thought I was grown, I thought I could do this, but no, like I promise you, like my first appointment back, I was like, okay, all of this has been going on. I mean, I did this, but
Yeah,
she is in the fact that there are so many times, majority of the times, honestly, that like when we go through things, it's her referencing the Bible. Like it's her referencing sermons. And it's like for me, it lets me know that this is not just a me thing, right? It's not just a me going through these things. The fact that you can reference a part of the Bible, you're telling me I'm not the first one to deal with this. Right. This, he's seen this before, and the devil has tried this before. However, this is how you got to equip yourself. This is the way that you should reference this. This is the way that you should look at this. It allows me to be seen, number one. That's like one of my biggest things is like being able to be seen. But being able to know that I have something to like lean back on, something to again reference. It makes a huge difference. Huge difference.
yeah. I mean, I have notebooks filled with Toryisms. Stuff she says all throughout
True.
our sessions. Like she's just phenomenal. She's a phenomenal therapist, and I don't even know how she does this, other than through the power of the Holy Ghost.
Is it? Is it? And that's where I really know there have been times where I'm like, Tori, it's not even 5 minutes into the appointment. Why are you like why are you hitting me over the head with
Yeah,
this good stuff? Like I remember one time I'm in an appointment and I'm like, ma'am, could you have given me a warning before like
like we just got here.
I mean hello. Good to see you too. Oh man. Okay, so I know this is kind of like throwing you on the spot here, but if you can reference like one main, not Toryism or like theme or something that you've taken away from Tory, what would it be?
Okay,
And it
there.
doesn't have to be And it doesn't have to be specifically for Tori. I mean, again, you can tell we're Tori's biggest fan club, but just from therapy in general, what would you give?
Yeah. So there's something that our last session, we were actually putting together a compatibility table for me. And
Mm-hmm.
this has to do with dating. And a lot of my sessions have had to do with dating and relationships because of purity culture and how that just kind of messed with my mindset a little bit. So she's trying to get me to think differently about certain things. And she had me put together this list. This is a long story, y'all, but I'm gonna tell y'all because it's a good story. So she had me put
That,
together this list as an assignment, a compatibility list. And she basically said, I want you to note two things. I want you to note concrete items, the things that are absolutely necessary for this man to possess. And I want you to note things that are cultivation items. And those are things that when y'all get together, y'all cultivate those things together, right? So I go over to Tanisha and she helps me put together this list. I go back to Tori and we're talking about compatibility. And of course, in my mind, I'm thinking, I think a lot of people think this, sameness. Like, okay, yes, I want this man who's this way, and I'm also this way. And I want him to possess this quality trait. And I also possess this quality trait. And we're thinking, as humans, we're thinking sameness. And Tori said, you know what? I wrote this down because I need to read
oh,
it.
oh, bring it on out, girl. Bring it on out. She said, bring the receipts. Go ahead.
I'm bringing the receipt. Tori said, sometimes as humans, we mistake compatibility for sameness. But compatibility is not sameness. Compatibility in and of itself means that different things are coming together. The best of our differences are coming together to achieve a common goal. And we can't achieve compatibility with sameness. And the example she gave was water bottles, right? So she had a water bottle, she's drinking water, and she had the top. And she's like,
Top.
the bottle and the top, these are compatible, right? Because they're coming together to achieve a common goal, to protect the water in the bottle, right? But if you have two tops, they're the same, but they're not compatible. They're not holding anything. And she wrapped all of this up by saying, and this is where I was getting to. Your difference has a destiny.
Girl, if I could throw a grape, I got grapes right here, y'all. I'm a,
I was like, what? It does?
why we're doing this is why there's a rebrand. Why? Because there is beauty. The things that Tina gets in her therapy sessions, even though we go to the same woman, there are things that she receives that are so beautiful, and there's something separate that I receive that is so beautiful. But the fact that we can share them with you is monumental. Because I'm sorry. Matter of fact, my next appointment this week, I'm gonna be like, Tori, I'm sorry. You said what now? She's like, I didn't say that to you. I know.
But say it to me now.
What? That is wow.
I was like, oh my goodness, she's right. She's good.
Wow.
And she's got me rethinking a lot of things. Whoever my future husband is, whoever you are, you're gonna be
Seek it.
incredibly lucky because you're
Seek
getting a
it.
healthy,
Ooh,
whole woman.
oh,
And
oh,
the healed
you
version of me
oh, oh,
is
oh,
incredible.
no. And I think that is the beauty. And we're gonna talk about this a little bit later in the season. But a lot has changed with me, guys. I mean, a lot. A lot. And she has helped me navigate through so many seasons of my life in the last, what, 4 years, 5 years, that I did not see for myself. And because I'm such a planner and didn't see these things for myself, she's helped me to navigate through what this looks like, what life really looks like. So for me, I think one of the biggest things that I've learned from her, like over the last few years, I think it's just honestly that God's grace is really. like no other. And Tina and I were kind of talking about this when we were talking about restarting the podcast, but and she was like, "See, the people need to know. The people need to know." But there's been some things that have happened over the last few years that I again did not see them for myself, and through those experiences, Tori has allowed me and opened up a space of transparency. Um, and through that space of transparency, she's allowed me to be real with myself and with God. And through that, it's allowed me to see a level of grace that I would have never known. And I would have never called it to be my travel, my like journey to grace. But oh, well, that's a good title, by the way.
Journey to
Journey to
Grace.
Grace. And ironically, that's like the name of her company. Yeah, Graceful. Yeah. Yeah. There's no way that I would have been able to understand and fully comprehend God's grace if it wouldn't have been through Tori breaking down those things in real time. And I think that's the part that is the beauty when it comes to therapy is while you may be going for one thing,
Mm-hmm.
as you're healing, God is going to reveal.
Yes, he is. Mm.
And not only is he going to reveal, there may be things that happen that may even make you question God. But because you're in therapy and if prayerfully you're with a therapist that is God focused, that they will be able to direct you back to God. So that way you're healing through therapy, but under him. And that, I don't know if this is the right time to drink to that, but that.
Drink to that. Mm-hmm. Because that's good. And I can even, like Tanisha said earlier, I was raised in church my whole life. The fact that Tori is teaching me about grace is wild
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I know the Lord. I've been known him. But this grace,
I've been known them.
I've been known him.
I know
But this grace that she is teaching me about is something that I hate to go here right now in this episode, but
No, no, no. I mean, take it, girl. Take it. Go ahead.
Take it, just take it, take it, take it, take it. Exactly.
the church sometimes makes your salvation about works when we know it's not. We know it's not
Tell
about
Tina.
works. But the church sometimes makes it that way, and it makes you feel like I have to do this and I got to be that and I've got to be perfect in order to just receive God's love. And his love is unconditional. And
Yeah.
you don't have to be perfect. There's only one. There's only one that's perfect. We all sin and fall short. So
I tell the folks all the time, I'm trash without God. I'm trash.
that should be a
true.
shirt. Let's make a shirt. I'm trash without God, and have like a trash can just in the center.
Like what's his name? Oscar. Who was in the trash
Grouch. Let's talk about that later.
Merch coming soon.
Merch. Oh Lord. Oh man. Yeah, I lost my train of thought thinking about Oscar the Grouch, but
my bad. Trash without God.
Trash without God. But yeah, Tori just being a therapist, but teaching me about this grace that I feel like I wouldn't have gotten from one of the church counselors.
Yeah. Yeah.
But with a real therapist who is God-centered, who is God-focused, she's teaching me about this grace that I can say I don't really I never really thought about in the manner in which
Mm,
she's teaching me about it.
yeah,
So I am incredibly grateful. Again, Tori Stan, Avi, but yeah, love her and love everything that the spirit is revealing to her to
yeah.
speak into my life because it is changing my life, is changing Tanisha's life for the better. So
Because again, we'll get to the episodes, but when
yeah.
you hear where I've been in the last 2 years, you be like, what's her number? What's her number? But like she booked. She booked. Go take my appointment. Go take my appointment.
She do be booked, y'all. It's wild.
Whew.
I'm like, she just opened this month and all these appointments are gone. Like, what happened?
And see, again, I've been with Tori since she was actually with another practice before she opened. So for me, I'm like, I've been spoiled. I gotta do better. Oh, goodness. No, she is amazing. And the beautiful thing is, if you're not in Texas, if she is booked and you still can't find someone, there are amazing therapists out there, guys. Like, it's not, Tori is just not a monolith. Like, there are other therapists out there. So we want to make sure that you guys are tapping into amazing resources. Was it Therapy for Black Girls is a great resource to tap into. There are some other websites that will tag in Instagram posts on also on YouTube for you guys to tap into. But the first step, honestly, you know how they say like in addiction is like the first step is admitting. The first step is like, especially as Black people, you know, we didn't really tap into that. But, you know, we are so quick, like beyond the God part of it, right? Like just pray it off. Like, no. As our community, like so many people have been, I feel like it's gotten better over the years, but so many people of different ages, they're so afraid to go to therapy. And I'm here to tell you, and I hope Tina is here to tell you as well, like that's not the wave. Is that what the children say? That's not the wave.
Is it?
That's not.
I
I don't
know
know.
I know Cap. That's Cap.
No, that okay. All right. We're
I know
elder
that Shay,
millennial.
but I
Yeah, no. Well, I'll call my nephew. I'll see.
I'm like, is
But
it
no,
wave? Is it vibe? I don't know. Oh, time. Like we're not on that time. I don't know. I don't be knowing what these kids
yeah,
say nowadays.
yeah. Okay, right. Either way, that's not it. That is not it. You guys, you have to know that it's bigger than you. Like this world existed before you and it will exist after you, and God has brought you to this world for this time, for this moment. And he honestly has called you for the best life that he has put you on this earth for. And that is not here to suffer. And so you've got to realize is that if you are dealing with depression, anxiety, fears, any of those things that praying is isn't really just tapping into, it might be from aside from your mental health. And so it's really time to tap into that. Like God is great. He is. And that's why he's created amazing therapists to come into your life, to be able to have those conversations that a sermon may not just do for you. You've got to have that one-on-one experience. And here's the thing. If you're going to an appointment and you get referred to someone that says, hey, it might be a time for medication, that's okay too. Like, whatever your process of being your best and whole self looks like, that's what he's called you for. And the beautiful thing is whatever you're experiencing, that's your testimony. And we all know what testimonies are here for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not just for you, it's for somebody else. So you were meant to go and process through what you have and what you've experienced through life, so that way you can help somebody else. You never know. You never know. Your silence is blocking somebody else. Talk about it. It's not easy, but here's the thing. Like I said earlier, you're not the only one. You're not the only one. And he has called you for this time.
Yes.
So this rebrand, you hopefully you watched the intro. But we want you to know is that we took these topics and we said, what are the things that we've gone through? What are the things that we've learned? But honestly, what have we experienced in the scope of therapy? But we're still us. Like, we love Jesus. Y'all, we were talking about something so random, and it became a whole shout moment because that's who we are. So that's why we're talking about Jesus. And yes, I have Sauvignon Blanc next to me because that's who we are.
Listen, we are bringing our authentic selves to this podcast.
Amen.
I feel
Amen.
like, we brought ourselves to Side-Eye Chronicles, especially if you watched it. We brought our authentic selves. But we were still in those church girl personas, right? So we're breaking the chains, take the shackles off my feet so I can dance.
I just wanna praise you. What you wanna do? I just wanna praise you. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we have not changed.
No, we haven't. Not at all.
We just got no.
All
That
right.
was a whimper, by the way.
We're headed out, y'all. But before we go, we have a question for y'all. Are y'all in therapy? If not, have you thought about it? What's keeping you from going? Is it harmful church rhetoric? Let's talk about it, right? Because
Talk about it.
listen, we're a community, y'all. We don't have to do these things alone. But let us know. Let us know if you're in therapy, and if not, what's keeping you from going?
I love it. I love it. So once you've had a chance to answer those questions, we want you to make sure, again, you're like, commenting, and subscribing because we don't want you to miss out on the next episodes. Our next one, we're going to continue in this reintroduction and we're going to really break down. We kind of touched on it a little bit on our church girl persona, but we're going to really break it down, like what that really looks like. Again, we kind of talked about who we are and who we've been as young girls, shelter girls growing up. But we want to really break that down, how the church led us to that point and kind of where we've been since then and how we kind of broke that down. And again, please know, again, the name of the podcast now is Caught Up in the Rapture in Therapy. So please know our therapist name is Tori Dixon. So you're gonna keep hearing her, okay? We're gonna have to like create like a little like image of her or something and then just pop it up. We're like Tori
Every
again.
time,
Tori again.
every time we quote Tori, her
Tori
face is gonna show
time.
up.
Right, it's Tori time.
Oh, I love that. Like, what if we have like Tori come on and we call it Tori time? Let's talk about this later.
Probably gonna watch a little bit of snippet of one of these from our post. So just let us know. We know you booked and busy. We know. We know. But
We know all too well.
and here's the thing. What's going to happen is if you guys get a 5-minute clip, please know it's going to be a 30-minute situation because actually it's never been that the three of us have ever been together.
Yeah, no, we never have. But I think
So
it
it's
would
going to,
be a totally different dynamic, but also like the same. Does that make sense?
oh no, absolutely. Like, because what's going to happen is I'm going to fangirl over the fact that like my friend,
Oh, is this grown too?
oh,
Oh, this is grown.
if you know, I have been non-friends for here we go again. Why do we never know how many years we've known each other? But for however many years we've known each other.
It's
But
16,
yeah,
right? Oh no.
no,
Oh,
no, we're not that. No. Our 20-year reunion is next year.
Oh no.
Oh no. But I do want to say that I did get carded for this wine. So
I love that for you.
it was the class. But yes, so we definitely have to bring Tori on for a little Tori time. But we are going to be talking about so many topics when it comes to what we've learned through therapy. And then sometimes we're gonna go kind of off the grid a little bit and talk about our loves, music, psychological thrillers. But no, we are so excited to be back. It took us a while, but we back, y'all.
We were in
Welcome
therapy.
back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Yeah, we're still the same.
Yeah.
We're just healed now.
So we're better.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You know, I was thinking
Well,
about this.
Tina.
This is called
Oh,
Caught Up in the Rapture. And like the initials are CUITR. And that kind of spells cuter, kind of. I mean, not really, but also kind of. Right?
so we're cuter.
So we're cuter because we're healed.
I mean, I receive it. I mean, I really want to go into like my status of like life right now, but I can't. And I feel like I'm cuter in life. Tori, Tori has earned her money from me. She deserves a tip because my God.
Bless the Lord. Okay, y'all.
Yeah.
Well, we're headed out because now we're rambling. So thank y'all for joining us today. We will see you next time. Let's get caught up.
And the rapture of therapy, y'all. See y'all next time.
Bye, guys.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.